The UDRcast is not affiliated and does not represent any 12-step fellowship. I, Bill Ward, the host of the UDRcast, will be sharing my experience and my journey of recovery. That does include, but is not limited to, the literature contained in the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps. Our guests will be sharing their own path to recovery and what has worked for them. The UDRcast encourages and supports all paths to recovery. Welcome everybody to the UDRcast. UDR stands for Uncover, Discover, and Recover. My name is Bill Ward, and I'm coming to you from the recovery capital of Canada, Calgary, Alberta. Here we are going to discuss everything recovery, different perspectives, different experiences, both with the people I know and with others from around the world. If you resonate with anything you've heard on this episode today, we ask that you share it with anyone who you think may benefit from it. If you have any questions or comments, please find us at BILLWARDLIFE and send us a message in the info section. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. If you are interested in more recovery content, you can find the buttons for the YouTube channel and other social media outlets on the homepage, and you will be redirected to those platforms. We can recover, one person, one family, one community at a time. Okay, so we're going to start on page 68. We did talk about fears and the evil and corroding thread. The fabric of our existence was shot through with it. That's what it says on the previous page. At the bottom of the page, it talks about we set in motion trains of circumstances that brought us misfortune we didn't deserve. We felt we didn't deserve. But did we not ourselves set the ball rolling? Fear, it ought to be classed with stealing. It seems to cause more trouble. And the thing about fear is it will fucking steal your life away. Fear will steal relationships from you. Fear will steal you from you. Fear will steal your life before you know it, and your life's over and you didn't even live a life because fear fucking stole it from you. And understanding fear. You know, most people come into this program and they're like, I'm fearless. I don't have any fear. Well, the real truth of the matter is you're driven by 100 forms of fear and self-delusion. The important part of this book that most people really don't zone into is in that step 3 where it describes the alcoholic addict to a fucking T, right? It describes the actor, right? The person who's trying to arrange life to suit himself. They can be quite nice and try to manipulate life to deliver them what it is that they want. You know, if everyone would do as I said, and I'm going to be nice about trying to arrange these players and the rest of the show in my own way. But if I don't get my own way that way, I might be mean, I might be egotistical, self-pitying, even indignant, right? And this is how we fucking try to manipulate the world to give us what it is that we think we need. You know, we might be kind of kind. I remember when I was not working, but I had my family and, you know, I'd want some things out of my kids. And I'd be like, really nice. Okay, you do these things and you're going to get this out of the deal. And I'd be really nice about it, right? If they didn't do those things, I'd be like, you don't do this, you're fucking in big shit, right? So at first I'm going to be kind, compassionate, modest, and even self-sacrificing. They don't do what I want because I'm the actor, right? I got a script and you got to live up to the script. The only problem is that I've never given you the script to live up to. So you got to fucking guess what the script is. Good luck, right? So then they don't do what I want. Now it's like, okay, now I'm going to fucking lead with a heavy hand. And if you don't do this, this is how it's going to affect you. So now I'm using fear and heavy-handed tactics to try to get them to do what I want. Right? And then finally they do what I want and they're pretty fucking not happy about it, right? They're a little depressed that I was like that, and now I change. And now I'm like, oh, see, you got it done and like everything's good now, right? And here I am, I'm just playing all my emotions on them and trying to get what it is I want out of life from them. And that it's not just my kids. It's fucking girlfriends, it's friends, it's business associates, it's everybody. I'm trying to manipulate using mind and emotional blackmails to try to fucking draw what it is I want out of other people. That's what slamming doors is all about. That's what fucking walking away with your head down in self-pity is all about. That's what fucking, hanging up on people is about. That's what fucking yelling at people is about. That's what all these behaviors is about, is we're trying to mind and emotionally manipulate other people to fucking get a point without us actually telling them the point. The problem with doing it that way is you give off a whole bunch of misinformation that's interpreted by them, not as the truth of how you want it to be understood. And without us learning how to communicate and understand each other, we will constantly be guessing and expecting and setting expectations and assumptions on everybody's fucking communication, and then we'll never fucking actually communicate because we're not fucking being honest with ourselves or with anybody else. And the problem is society has actually trained us to be like this. Most of our behaviors and the way that we interact with the opposite sex or our children or whatever, a lot of men, when they raise their kids, they're just be tough. Get up, shake it off. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. Oh, fuck, those are crap. Don't cry. Fuck, wipe those tears away. Fucking get going. You're going to be okay, right? Really, the fucking kid maybe needs to fucking cry, right? Maybe he needs a fucking hug from his dad. But his dad never got a hug, right? His dad never got fucking taught love. And so we're treating and teaching our young men in this world to fucking be tough, but really it's self-destruction type teaching. We end up hurting them and not really knowing it because that's all we learned, right? And it's the same with the women. I've dated a few women in my life, and a lot of these women were really, really fucking amped up with how good they had to look, man. Like an hour and a half before we had to fucking be anywhere, they were in front of a fucking mirror for a fucking hour or two. And it's just like, what the fuck for? Because I didn't care that much. I really don't think the rest of the world cared that much. But she sure fucking cared that much. And really, what the fuck's the point? Well, I find out her mom fucking really, since she was a little kid, she wanted her to be a model and fucking, watch your weight, be all these things. And fucking it actually really affected some of these women in such a negative way, right? And in that step 3, it talked about are we not the victim of a delusion? Are we not victims, yes, of lies, of delusions that we can wrest, grab, snatch, take happiness and satisfaction of this world if we only manage well? The thing is that big part of that managing well is getting the validation from other people on us so that we're okay with what you think of us, right? And when we look at going back to fears, most of the fear that we live in is fear of judgment from other people. Almost all of it boils down to fear of judgment from other people. And through fear of judgment of other people, we fucking actually judge ourselves, right? And it's very, very destructive. And so back to that point that nobody notices in the big book, driven by 100 forms of fear and self-delusion. The self-delusion is a piece that nobody really attunes into. Because as you're living as a selfish, self-centered alcoholic, you don't tune into the self-delusion because the alcoholic life is the only normal one. You don't really tune into that some of your fucking thinking is fucking self-delusional. But so to really amp up and highlight these 2 points in step 3, remember, we're driven. And when you look up the word driven, it means compelled by an unseen controllable force. Driven by 100 forms of fear. Where are these fears stemming from? They're stemming from the instincts. They're stemming from our instincts for sex relation, emotional, material security, and companionship. These things drive us, dominate. They insist upon ruling our lives. And at some point, they will often tyrannize us. And that's all in the step 4 in the 12 and 12. First page and a half. It really fucking talks a lot about what drives us, right? And then that self-delusion. That's one that the reason I'm talking about it is I want when you guys leave here to remember those two. I'm driven by fucking fear and I'm driven by self-delusion. Because if you can remember that when you're out there in life, when the alcoholic life is the only normal one and you're fucking, everything's happening and you can't fucking differentiate the true from the false on a normal day-to-day basis, and it's the little things that are fucking spinning you out of control, and you fucking stop and go, fuck, I'm driven by self-delusion. Oh yeah, fuck. And then you have a minute of reprieve and you can go, fuck, okay, my illness is fucking acting up again here. What can I do right here, right now? Because once we start spinning, we can fucking take this shit to the next level. And we don't even fucking see it. And we won't pick up the phone. We won't do the inventory. We won't do anything. Why? Because it just fucking takes us. But if you can remember certain things, and through this big book study, you guys, when you're done, you'll see, okay, Bill hammered home like 16 things. That's all he ever did, was from the very start to the very end, he hammered home 10 or 15 or 16 fucking things. And really, that's all I'm doing. Is I'm just hammering home certain things over and over and over so that when you leave here, you fucking have the elements of a way that you can identify the fucking issues and you can go right to the solution. Because if you can't identify the issue, you won't go to the solution. So that's why I talk about that. So basically back to fears. When you write out your list of fears, as you're doing a step 4, like it says in here, I'm going to read it. We reviewed our fears thoroughly. So it says you review your fears thoroughly. You fucking look at the fear. What is it, man? I have a fear of being in a relationship. I have a fear of not being in a relationship. I have a fear of failure. I have a fear of success. And you really look at these fears. I have a fear of relapse. I have a fear my kids are going to be drug addicts. I have a fear of death. I have a fear of fucking whatever it is. We reviewed them thoroughly. Doesn't say you just wrote them down and didn't look at them twice. Review them thoroughly. We put them on paper even though we had no resentment in connection with them. 2, we asked ourselves why we had them. So then you ask yourself, why do you have the fucking fear? And you ask yourself, why do I have this fear? So when I do a step 5 with people and I get them to write a list of fears, and then I go into the fucking step 5 and I ask them, why do you have this fear? Why do you have the fear that you're unworthy of a good partner in your life? And most people, when you ask them the first question on whatever the fear is, they'll fucking give you an answer, right? Well, why do you feel like you're fearful of success? Because I don't feel good enough. And then they leave it at that. And most of us, that's where we leave it, okay? But the thing about like dealing with what we're dealing with, if you don't go past that surface level, because remember in step 4, it talked about we searched out the flaws in our makeup that caused our failure. Being convinced that self is the problem. It manifests itself in various ways is what had defeated us. So we considered its common manifestations. And again, what about the uncommon manifestations of self? That's fucking more important as you go down the road. You can do a first set of steps here and get some of the common shit and go, yeah, it's my self-worth, move the fuck on. Good, okay. Where's that going to fucking get you in 6 months? Where's that going to get you in a year? It's going to get you nowhere. It's going to get you nowhere. Because we got to look for the deeper, the common manifestations of self. Okay? So as you're looking at these questions, you got to ask yourself, and here's a little bit of a rule of thumb that you guys can use. It's called 7 layers deep. It's nowhere in your literature. It's something that I use. And you ask yourself the question, why do I have this fear? Well, what's the fear? I'm afraid of being in a relationship. And then so the next question becomes the answer to the first question. Why am I afraid of being in a relationship? Okay? And then you answer the next question. So you're reviewing your fears thoroughly here. Why am I afraid to be in a relationship? And then you got to think. You got to really fucking think now. Why am I afraid to be in a relationship? Because they're difficult and it makes me vulnerable. Okay, why are you afraid of the difficulty and why am I afraid of the vulnerability? Is your next questions. So you got 2 questions out of that. And it's like, okay, because it takes a lot of work and I got to admit truths about myself. And now I'm getting real. And the main point to this is as you go down the layers, you're going to get to about the 3rd or 4th layer and you're going to go blank. And then you won't know what to say. That's where the fucking rubber hits the road. Now you're getting into the self-worth issues. Now you're getting into more of the roots of the problem. Now you're getting into some of the 3rd column stuff and the resentments, the roots of the fucking problems. So it's called 7 layers deep. And I'm not going to sit here and go through all 7 layers, but you can do this on your own, but it's best to do it with somebody else. And when you first start doing this 7 layers deep stuff, you might wonder a few things or maybe not be able to fucking tap into it properly at first, but you keep trying and you'll get better at it. And then it will reveal some shit that you don't really want to fucking admit. And that's where your fucking failure is starting. Remember in step 3 where I said the problems that we think arise out of ourselves? That's where they're arising, from out of yourself, deep down inside. So you can stay on the surface all the fuck you want. You won't get very far in this recovery game. You'll be drunk within a fucking year or less. You have to fucking keep going a little deeper and a little deeper and a little deeper. But there's a thing called subconscious and conscious fear. Subconscious and conscious fear are based in pride, and they do not want you to look past this stuff because they don't really want to admit it and they don't really want to deal with it because don't you know most human beings run from fucking pain and problems as from the plague. Whether you do it subconsciously or consciously, we run, which is why we drink. But the thing about not running and fucking bringing God in and saying, God, reveal to me what needs to be fucking dealt with. Because if you don't deal with that shit, it'll deal with you down the road. So we really implore and bring our Creator into all of this shit. You guys don't need to figure none of this shit out on your own. You don't figure none of this on your own. Everything is your fucking question for Creator. Everything is a guidance for Creator. Everything is Creator's strength, His power. Left to your power, you're drunk. Okay? Left to your power, you are fucking drunk and high, running your life on your own will, based in a fucking fear, and eventually you'll pick up the fucking drink because any life run by us is not successful, and we fucking pick up a drink or a drug. But it'll first start with the relationship. It'll start with some porn. It'll start with some other shit first, right? So rely on Creator's power. Because you don't need to waste your power. Your power isn't even strong enough. Just call on God's power, man. And once you start calling on that unseen power, it fucking starts working for you. It gives you something that you have no idea where this power fucking came from. Okay, I just want to read something here out of step 11 quickly. If anyone wants to follow along, it's on page 104. So, bottom of 104, second last paragraph. In AA, we found that the actual good results of prayer are beyond question. They are matters of knowledge and experience. All those who have persisted have found strength, not ordinarily their own. So you will find the strength, not ordinarily on your own, okay, of your own. They have found wisdom beyond their usual capability. That's really fucking important. Finding this wisdom beyond your usual capability. So just to kind of rehash that step 11 stuff that I was bringing in here, and the whole point is you don't fucking need to rely on your own self-reliance in any of this shit. That's the whole thing, is we're trying to relinquish that. Okay, but it's really hard to do. It takes like commitment. It takes persistent, consistent commitment to fucking do what we're talking about. So a lot of people don't really have the fucking trust in God or the belief in God that God can do these things. It's a theoretical thing and it sounds good. Fucking sounds great at the meeting when these guys say this, but am I actually going to do this on my own? Well, you got to start somewhere, right? You got to try, right? And like the thing about this fucking journey of working with Creator is it fucking only builds if you're willing to believe in it. If you're not willing to really believe in it, it's only going to take you so fucking far, and you will run your life again and you will fucking drink again. But I've seen it way too many times that if you fucking take the leap of faith and you trust in this power, regardless of what you think, you trust in this power and you call on it, things fucking work and it changes. So in AA, we found the actual good results of prayer beyond question. They are matters of knowledge and experience. All those who have persisted have found strength not ordinarily of their own. So it talks about persisting and finding the strength that is not ordinarily of your own. Okay? They have found wisdom beyond their usual capability. And think about that. The wisdom. Okay? This is where I fucking come into this. I don't even use my own fucking brain, hardly. I use God's wisdom. So in the step 10, as you guys are learning how to fucking do what we're talking about, there's a piece in step 10 that it says, if you have followed, much has already been said about receiving strength, inspiration, and direction from Him who has all knowledge and power. So much has already been said. In the first fucking 83 pages of that book that talks about God who has all knowledge and power and wisdom. And it tells you how to fucking access it. Right? So much has already been said about receiving His strength, inspiration, and direction from Him who has all knowledge and power. If you have followed directions carefully, so again, I'm going to go to directions. This book is directions. You follow the fucking directions, not the theoretical idea of what you think it is. And a lot of the theoretical ideas of what you think it is fucking emanates outside in those rooms like fucking crazy. You don't need to listen to what those opinions and theories are. You just go back to this book and you find somebody that knows what's in the book. And if you follow directions carefully, it says you will felt the flow of His Spirit into you. To some extent, we have become God conscious. We have begun to develop this vital sixth sense. So we can start relying on the vital sixth sense. And think of the word vital. It means two things. It means important, yes, but it comes from the word vitality, which means giving of life. It'll give you the best life you've ever known if you fucking learn how to fucking do what we're talking about. Okay? So, back to fears. You ask God why you have the fear. Do your 7 layers deep. That is not part of the directions exactly in the big book, but it does say we reviewed our fears thoroughly. So you can review your fears thoroughly. We asked ourselves why we had them. Wasn't it because self-reliance failed us? Self-reliance was good as far as it went, but it didn't go far enough. Some of us had once great self-confidence, but it didn't fully solve the fear problem or any other. When it made us cocky, it was worse. So perhaps there is a better way, for we think so, for we are now on a different basis. That's really important. Are we really on a different basis? Okay? Perhaps there's a better way. Well, I'm telling you guys there is. So maybe you're sitting there going, well, perhaps there is. Or maybe this guy's full of shit. Maybe I am full of shit. But you guys can probably feel it in me that I don't think I'm full of shit. I believe in what I'm telling you. Perhaps there is a better way. Maybe you have a slight inclination that maybe this guy's not full of shit. Maybe there is a better way. Maybe you don't even believe there's a better way, but you know that the way you're fucking doing it sure the hell ain't working. So at least there's that, right? So if you keep doing what you've fucking been doing, it ain't gonna get any better. So at least there's that, right? Perhaps there's a better way, for we think so. For we are now on a different basis. Are we? Are we on a different basis? The basis of trusting and relying upon God. And think about that. You know, you did a step 3 prayer. Is that fucking bullshit? Did I really fucking mean what I said? Or did I just want to get the heat off? Did my religion tell me that I should follow God's path? And so that's what I kind of believe, but I don't really believe. So again, what am I doing right here? I'm taking inventory again, like on this question. I'm asking myself, what's the truth here? Am I actually invested? Am I actually on the basis of trusting and relying upon God? Or am I just doing this because I got fucking 60 more days of treatment and I'm fucking out of here? What am I actually doing here? And then it goes into say, we trust infinite God rather than our finite self. We are in the world to play the role that he assigns. So, am I in the world to play the role that he assigns? Remember, we talked about the actor in step 3. I'm the actor. I'm wearing any mask that I'm fucking need to wear in the world to get through life. And I'm an actor. And again, so I'll tie this back to the word personality, which is who we think we are out here. Personality, oh, that's just my personality. That's my personality. You know, and so many people say, well, that's not me. I'm not doing that because that's not me. Well, that's what you've told yourself, the story that it's not you. Or that is you. That's the story that you've told yourself. Really. So personality comes from the word persona. And the word persona comes from, I think it's Greek mythology. And these guys used to put on plays, and they used to call the actor in the play the persona. And what did they do? They gave them the mask to wear in the play. And then the word personality came from that. And when you look at our world and how we fucking run our world, almost everybody's wearing a mask. Right? Nobody's really honest or really fucking integral or really. You know, you ask anyone how they're doing, they're like, oh, I'm fucking good. I'm good. You know, at least in this program, we're more able to at least be fucking honest. You know what? Hey, how you doing? I'm not good. You know what? And if you were to say that out there in the world of the material to your fucking buddy who's not an alcoholic, and you say, yeah, I'm not good, they're like, oh, God. I don't fucking want to hear that shit. Right? Fuck. Now he's going to tell me like something real about his life. Fuck. That's all I need to hear. But at least here, you know, like someone can say I'm not good and we fucking actually give a shit. Like, how are you not good? What's happening? Right? Maybe we can't solve all their problems because the one who has all knowledge and power can. But at least we can lend an ear and we can fucking build some compassion, right? Build some altruism because that's actually the solution to our life, right? So that's really important, and at least that's something too, right? So we're here to play, now we're in this part of the book here, we're here to play the role that he assigns. Not the fucking actor anymore. Now we're playing a different role. What's the role? The role is I fucking work for Creator. I made a decision in step 3 that says I have a new fucking employer. I have a new employer. His name is God. His name is higher power. His name is Creator. His name is love. Her name, its name, whatever. And now I play the role of love in every single thing I fucking do. And when I'm encountered with, I can act in love or I can act in selfishness, now I stand at the turning point. And that can happen all day fucking long. I stand there and I ask for his protection and care with complete abandon. What am I going to do right here, right now? When I'm offered that easy piece of tail, or I'm offered that $500 in that wallet that nobody saw that guy dropped. Or that I can fucking beak off and gossip about somebody who's fucking being an asshole in the program and join the fucking committee on that one. What am I going to do in these little moments? Am I going to stand up and do the right thing? Am I going to take that $500 and go fucking take it to the till and say, you know what? Here, this guy dropped his wallet, and I need the $500, right? That's a hard thing to fucking do. You know, when everyone's gossiping about, yeah, and fucking asshole in the program, are you going to stand up and say this ain't fucking right? Or at least walk away and fucking pray? Like, these are the times where we fucking show the character in what we're fucking doing. Am I going to play the role? Or am I going to be the actor right here, right now? And this is where it's hard, right? Because we all want validation. I want validation by fitting in on the gossip. I fucking get some validation out of my peers, my emotional security, my desire for companionship. Maybe there's some hot chicks in here, my sex relations fucking tied in here too. And for me to stand up and be the only one not involved in it, now I segregate myself. My whole lifespan I've been segregating myself. Fuck, I want to be part of this shit. Well, you got a choice. You be part of something that's sick, or you fucking try something hard. And that trying something hard is actually where the benefits are. But now you're sitting here fucking alone. But you're not alone. Because you're with your creator. And you did something that you stood in the truth of fucking who you are. And that is far more valuable than selling out your fucking soul to be part of a bunch of bullshit. But the thing about this journey is it doesn't seem like it's the right thing to do. Because here you are alone and afraid again. But I've told you guys right from the start, you want to fucking walk this way of life? Be prepared. It's a long, lonely fucking journey, but it isn't actually lonely because you build a relationship with Creator. And make the acquaintanceship with Creator, because everybody is sooner or later going to leave you. Everyone in your life will sooner or later leave you. So you make the acquaintanceship with Creator, because Creator will never leave you. For if the alcoholic fails to perfect and enlarge his spiritual life through the work and self-sacrifice for others, he will not meet the certain trials and low spots in life ahead. It's the certain trials and low spots in life ahead that will take you fucking out. We have to build a relationship with the Creator so that those low spots and tragedies that are coming, and it's a fucking guarantee, because somebody's dying, somebody's getting sick. Something is going to happen. But if you can build a serious relationship with your Creator, you can be that fucking person that can fucking help organize a funeral. You can be the strong person and fucking be there for the other people when they're falling apart at the seams. That's what we're talking about. Because if we drink, we die. And that God dope is the good shit anyway, so that's what we're looking for. Because if I need to build a relationship with God, or I won't fucking be able to navigate these certain trials and low spots in life ahead. So, as we keep reading, here it is. So we trust infinite God rather than our finite selves. We are in the world to play the role that He assigns. So if you're a father, you go play the role as a father and you're fucking loving. If you're a fucking son, you play the role as a son and you stay loving and kind and compassionate. If you're a friend, you are playing the role as a friend and you're actually a fucking friend. If you're a fucking student in the study, then you play the role as a student. If it switches in the moment and you become the teacher in the study for fucking 10 minutes or whatever, then you play the role that you're assigned. My opinion is if you get asked to fucking do something, you fucking participate. And you play the role. Don't let the fear dominate. You call on Creator's power and ask. You know, Shanda didn't put her hand up and say, yeah, I'm praying. But I asked her, boom, she's fucking there. Why? Because she fucking probably pulled on her Creator. Because she's working that way. It's becoming a working part of her life. Right? So I know for me, I don't ever say no to nothing. Nothing ever when it comes to anything, really. No matter how I'm going to look, it doesn't matter. Because I know I'm playing a role for a Creator. And if other people laugh and judge me, that's not my shit. I'm just fucking doing the best I can, and that's fucking fine by me. Fucking Janine always laughs at me. I don't give a fuck. I just laugh back at her. So we play the roles, man. Whatever the role is, and the role that we're playing is always based in love and kindness and God. And again, I'll go back to the line where as you're walking your path of this journey of truth, you must speak your truth in the fucking journey, no matter what your truth is in that journey. And your journey of truth might not be the truth as you stand in the power of your truth and speak it. Because truth is based in love. Real truth is based in love. But some of your truth might be still based in your brokenness, in your trauma or whatever. But if you're walking that direction, you stand in that truth and you speak it anyway, because you're on the journey to the truth. And you get more empowerment through speaking the truth as you go. The thing about it, and I'll say it again, don't avoid speaking your truth to avoid conflict. Because where's the fucking conflict anyway? In your fucking self. And if you avoid conflict outside of you, you never avoid the conflict inside of you. And if you keep fucking avoiding conflict because you don't have the balls to speak up and speak that truth, then you call on Creator's power and you say, give me your words and your strength so I can fucking speak this truth, because I don't need this in my life anymore. And I need to say this in a kind and loving way, because that's the role you've assigned me right now. And you fucking stand out and you speak it. And you leave the results up to God. The thing about this journey is we're going to try to control the situations because we want to avoid conflict, because that's not what we want. We leave the wants up to fucking God. We just do what we're supposed to and leave the results up to God. If the other person doesn't like what you fucking said, then you fucking better learn how to fucking accept other people's bullshit and fucking stand in your own truth. And if you keep allowing a person, place, a thing, or a situation, or a defect of character to keep taking away your peace and serenity and contentment in your life that you've built, then it becomes a decision based in self, because you're fucking allowing it. If you keep allowing that same person in your life over and over and over, and you know that they create fear and anxiety and fucking depression and blah, 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 they're not creating it, you're allowing it to happen. Just like the book says, it's about sometimes we need to practice total abstinence. Abstinence means fucking they're out. But are you really going to let them out? Because that fucking thread, that little thread, that insidious thread of fucking self, where you used to get that value from them, you fucking allow it back, and then boom, you're back to where you were, always. And then, so if you don't get a handle on that, which is actually based on a defective character, in the third column, then that will fucking plague you. And what happens? The beatings continue until the lessons are learned. So the self-inflicted bondage of self beatings continue till you learn the fucking lesson. And if you're struggling with anything in your life that keeps plaguing you over and over and over, I guarantee you it's decisions based in self, something that you won't fucking let go, or you haven't seen that you need to let go, or you're too scared to fucking let it go. But for anyone new, like in your first couple years, like don't think you got to do this perfectly, because it'll never happen perfectly. You're never going to get this perfectly. Like I'm fucking talking 7 years in, and fucking not many people run as solid as program as I do. And I fucking put a lot of effort into what we're talking about here. So you got to fucking give yourself some time, right? And remember that as long as you stay sober, at least minimum, and you're fucking working towards something better, God's will, a desire to seek and do His will, that's fucking really what matters. So we're not here to give each other fucking lashes on this shit. But in the same breath, it's like the old saying in the program, take it easy. Yeah, take it easy. But don't take it too fucking easy. Right? You know what I mean? Like there's balance here, right? Crystal?
Sorry, so is it normal then, so when you start to kind of understand where your defects are or where you're living in self, early recovery, not that it's an excuse, but it's normal for people to kind of still hold on to some of that will?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, thank God.
It takes a while, man, but you're willing, right?
Yeah.
And and like, you went from one defect right to the opposite, and now that one's causing you pain, and you're trying to find the balance, but you're also 10 months sober or whatever.
5.5.
5.5, okay, even better, right? So you're like working on it, and it will reveal itself, and you'll see it deeper. Like I always say, fuck, it takes at least fucking 2 years to really even understand self. And that's if you're working a solid program. If you ain't working a solid program, you'll spend 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 fucking years here and not even have a fucking clue what I'm talking about. At least you're fucking working at it. But if you dig in for the first 2 or 3 fucking years, really good like you are, without beating yourself up and going into self-pity, you'll start understanding self that in a way that you'll level yourself up out of this in no time. And you'll be able to go, you little fucker self. You'll be able to see it more, right? Because most people don't see it. And for an addict alcoholic, there's a fucking 6-month spree.
I don't know if she finally returned it, but I'll tell you, I spent about 10 hours listening to this. I said that to her too. I said, you've spent over 10 hours of my hours, my serenity, and I'm just letting you process this shit. And now we're at this moment where you're going to hear it, you're going to learn. And yeah. So, anyways, we step on the toes in our fear-based shit.
Okay, I'm just going to finish this off and then we'll bust out of here for a smoke and then we'll start sex conduct. Okay, so just to the extent that we do as we think he would have us and humbly rely on him, does he enable us to match calamity with serenity? So it's saying, what extent am I going to do as I think that he would have me and humbly trust him, rely on him? To that extent exactly, does he enable me to match calamity with serenity? So what extent am I going to turn this over and really trust in Creator? Is it going to be 10%? Then I don't get much reprieve. So it takes time to learn how to fucking do what we think he would have us. And often it doesn't seem like it makes sense anyway. You know, when somebody's yelling at you with double barrels, does it make sense that you should just step back and pray for him? No, it seems like I should fucking yell back. But that's not what we're doing around here. We start learning that is their symptoms. You know, what is their name is whatever. They're a fucking asshole. Why? Because they're yelling at me. Well, second column is they're spiritually sick, emotionally ill, and frequently wrong. That's their symptoms of their spiritual sickness, right? So we do things that are different, but the long game down the road is a lot of the shit that doesn't make sense. It won't make sense till you're down the road anyway. The thing about doing this and jumping off these cliffs and doing shit anyway, even when it doesn't make sense, because we're trained by our minds, by society to figure shit out. We're always trying to figure shit out. Everything. Especially some of us alcoholics, even worse, right? We can't shut it off. We're always trying to figure it out, right? So it takes time to fucking listen to the answers and do as we think he would have us in the situation and humbly rely on him. Then it says, can he match his serenity with my calamity? Because I'm always creating my own calamity. So what extent am I going to do that to? So we never apologize for anyone for depending upon our Creator. We can laugh at those who think that spirituality is the way of weakness. Paradoxically, it is the way of strength. So I'm going to just use an example. So like a lot in my life, I was an intellectual most of my life. I was always figuring shit out. So I really looked up to those guys. Now I'm not that. I don't figure shit out. But I still run into a lot of intellectuals, right? So it's like we never apologize for anyone for depending upon our Creator. We can laugh at those who think that spirituality is the way of weakness. So there's a lot of people that I've run into that think that the way that I operate is fucking like weak, right? But little do they know that I have a fucking secret pocket power source that I can fucking call on that these guys don't. And I fucking just laugh, kind of like, yeah, fuck, bro, if you only knew, right? If you only fucking knew. And it's so true, right? Paradoxically, it is the way of strength. The verdict of the ages is that faith means courage. All men of faith have courage. They trust their God. We never apologize for God. Instead, we let him demonstrate through us what he can do. So that's kind of what we're doing in our lives. We're letting God demonstrate through us what he can do in our lives. Working every aspect of our life with fucking compassion, with kindness, with love, with the general spiritual principles that we learn through this program. And a heavy, heavy emphasis on this piece right here is in our step 10. Understanding the exact directions of step 10. It's not a theoretical idea what step 10 is. It's you follow the process. The results are the principles. So we ask him to remove our fear. There's some direction right there. You're in a fear. Boom, it says you ask him to remove your fear. Whatever the fear is. So when I give somebody that, when they do their list, and I'm doing a 5, one of my directions for the sponsee is you go through every single fear. And we've already looked at what the fear is and why they have it. So we've done that through every fear. And then at the end of it, it's like, okay, now I want you to go through every fear and go, ask God to remove the fear and direct your attention to what he would have you be. What's he going to have you be? So it's a fear of not being financially secure, or fear of getting fired at your job. Okay, well, you ask God to remove the fear. What's he going to have you be? It's not what he's going to have you do. Okay? It's what is he going to have you be. It's through the being, playing the role that you're assigned. It's through the being that the doing follows and comes out of the being. So at work, when we go to work, so a lot of us work this program, and then when we go to work, we don't really think about the program. But what is step 6? Step 6 is a willingness to try repeatedly step 6 on all our faults. Without reservation. Always. So when we go to work, that's the same deal. We're trying to fucking live God's will in the role at work that we're assigned. And I'm trying to play this role. What is the role? I'm kind and I'm loving, I'm compassionate and I'm understanding. And I do my job to the best of my ability. And I don't let my fucking procrastination and my dog fucking abilities fucking ruin my fucking job. Because at some point, I'll get busted. And I'm going to go like, fucking look what happened again. I'm fired again. Or I got demoted again. Well, why? Well, because they don't like me. Fucking, they're all threatened by my fucking great character and how hard I work. But then you do the inventory with your sponsor and like, fuck, you've been late fucking 4 times a week, fucking for like 4 months. You're fucking supposed to be working at a level 10 and you're working at a level 5. You're fucking lying to your boss about fucking this shit. Fucking, you're fighting with your boyfriend till 4 in the morning and you're crawling in there at fucking 7, slithering in the door 5 minutes late. Like, fucking grab a fucking brain. Like, what are we talking about? That's the shit that gets revealed, right? But when you ask somebody, well, oh, fuck yeah, it's fucking, all these other things are the problem, right? But when you get down to the fucking roots of it, it's usually the alcoholic addict, right? I've only had 60 jobs in my life and I'm only 24, right? And none of them were my fault that I got let go of, right? So we ask God what he would have us be. What is he going to have me be? He's going to have me be you can write down what's he going to have us be? What spiritual principle is he going to have you be? Integral? Fucking having faith? Courageous? Whatever it is, it's a spiritual principle. And typically, this will all boil back to the step 10 anyway. And at once it says we commence to outgrow fear. So it's the beginning. Once you commence, you begin to outgrow fear. But it's not an overnight matter. It continues for our lifetime. And you watch for this in your step 10. And then over time, the fear actually dissipates and you're not living in fear. Because you've built a conscious companionship with your Creator. And you're not living like that anymore. But it takes time. Again, it takes time, right? And then it becomes a working part of our mind. We come to rely upon it. What used to be the occasional huntress inspiration gradually becomes a working part of the mind. That's going from step 6 to step 7 is what that's talking about in that literature. In step 11. So let's take 7 minutes and have a smoke, and then we'll come back and start. Thank you for tuning in to the UDRcast. We hope you have enjoyed this episode. The viewpoints and the opinions expressed today were solely of the individual sharing them. If you resonated with this episode, please follow us and share this link with anyone that may benefit from it. Please visit us at BILLWARDLIFE to see everything that we have going on. We can recover, one person, one family, one community at a time.